Good morning, everyone. Today is October 26th, 2021. It is now 10:44 a.m. This meeting was called, issue for the call for this meeting was issued on October 19th originally. And with 6 members present, we have a quorum to conduct this meeting. And today's meeting was to receive the affidavit of Ms. Frances De La Cruz, the executive assistant to Governor Torres. Although a subpoena was issued in the spirit of comity between the branches, we afforded them the opportunity to submit an affidavit prior to being appearing before this body. And I would like to read the affidavit into the record, which responds to our subpoena issued on October 8th, 2021. And I will start off with the letter from Miss De La Cruz's counsel, Miss Viola Alapuzo. And she states, Dear Chairwoman Babauta, Tiro me hafade. I hope this letter finds you well. I am in receipt of your October 19th, 2021 letter, and thank you for agreeing to engage in the spirit of dynamic compromise between the branches of government, specifically the executive and the legislative branches. Please note that Ms. De La Cruz is caught in the middle of this unfortunate situation, but she continues to unequivocally invoke her constitutional testimonial immunity and privilege, objects to the subpoena, and does not waive any constitutional rights she may now have or will have in the future. Despite all this, and in the spirit of compromise, Ms. De La Cruz is providing an affidavit sworn under penalty of perjury, responding to the 6 enumerated items in the subpoena served upon her. She also includes her duties and responsibilities as executive assistant to the governor or at the office of the governor. In addition, if the Judiciary and Governmental Operations Committee has any follow-up questions, Ms. De La Cruz welcomes a process to continue to protect her rights while providing the committee the information it seeks. Thank you for your time, consideration, and respect of my client's rights. If you have any questions and so forth, and it is signed by Ms. Viola Alapuzo, the counsel on record for Ms. Frances De La Cruz. And we will also provide a reading of the affidavit submitted by Ms. De La Cruz. And at this time, I would like to recognize Representative Donald Menglonia.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Um,
Following is
Privilege, Madam Chair, just so that the committee meeting is in order for today, that we do have a quorum to continue with today's meeting, and that all the proceedings are on record. No? Thank you. I apologize, Rep. Manglonia. Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you. The following is the affidavit of Ms. Frances De La Cruz,
Ex-
Executive
excuse me.
Assistant, Office of the Governor.
Rep. Donald, I'm sorry, one more thing. Can I get a motion to adopt today's agenda
So
for
moved.
official?
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor to adopt today's agenda, and it has been seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
Ready.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. This meeting is hereby in order. You may proceed, Representative Mangonia.
Thank you, Chair. And the affidavit starts off as I, Frances De La Cruz, Executive Assistant, Office of the Governor, hereby affirm as follows. A. I am over 18 years old. B. I have professional knowledge of the matters contained in this affidavit through my employment as the Executive Assistant at the Office of the Governor. C. I was the Executive Assistant to Lieutenant Governor Ralph de Leon Guerrero Torres from January 12, 2015 until December 29, 2015. D. During this period, I was the Administrative and Office Manager in the Lieutenant Governor's Office. E. As such, I was responsible for administrative and managerial duties in the Lieutenant Governor's Office. F. I have held the position of Executive Assistant to Governor Ralph DeLeon Torres from December 29, 2015 until present. G. Since assuming the role of the Governor's Executive Assistant, I have taken on additional duties and responsibilities. H. The following are my duties and responsibilities as the Executive Assistant at the Office of the Governor. 1. Prepare incoming and outgoing document logs from different departments and agencies. 2. Prepare and process reimbursement requests, memo payments, travel authorizations or TA, travel vouchers, and purchase requisitions. 3. Coordinate and assist with official meetings, functions, and events. 4. Prepare agendas, forms, and any other documents needed at these meetings. 5. At the instruction of the Governor, attend briefings with federal and local officials. 6. Take meeting minutes and/or notes during meetings and/or briefings with federal and local officials. 7. Receive incoming and outgoing correspondence for the Governor. 8. Finalize and review correspondence for the Governor's approval and signature. 9. Ensure information and record files are maintained to reflect an updated status. 10. Guide, train, cross-train, assist, and supervise 5 employees so that the office continues to function when the office is less than fully staffed. 11. Conduct biweekly staff meetings to gather updates on our office workflow and the Governor's weekly schedules. 12. Manage and organize the Governor's official calendar, including making appointments, sending reminders, and prioritizing visitors and callers' complaints that requires immediate attention. 13. Answer phone calls in a polite and professional manner. 14. Welcome visitors and identify the purpose of their visit. Assist them with their questions or concerns before directing them to the appropriate department or agencies. 15. Operate computers, photocopier, fax machines, as well as proficient in Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Photoshop software, and digitally managing daily operations through online collaboration. 16. Daily conversations on follow-ups with various departments and agencies on reports and findings, office operations, and appointment schedules with the Governor.
Thank you, Rep. Donald. At this time, I would like to recognize Representative Corina Magofnia.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, colleagues. I will be reading off of the affidavit with regards to travel. So, number 1, the following are my responses to the enumerated items in the Legislative Committee subpoena I received in my capacity as the Executive Assistant to the Governor at the Governor's Office. 1. Travel policies, procedures, and practices of the Office of the Governor, including but not limited to travel performed by Governor Ralph D.L.G. Torres and/or Mrs. Diane Tudela Torres or other government personnel or other entities contracted or procured by the Office of the Governor. A. Travel authorizations by all others. 1. I get the request from the traveler or government employee. 2. I request for the justification of their travel, i.e., workshop, conference, training, etc. 3. If there is registration required for their travel, it is up to the traveler to make the necessary arrangements and submit to me to be included in or with the TA. 4. If the traveler is requesting for car rental, it is up to the traveler to make arrangements and submit the confirmed reservation to be included in or with the TA. 5. I call the travel agency and request for a reservation according to the justification provided and for the reservation to be emailed to me. 6. I prepare the TA according to the justification provided. 7. I prepare the travel advance form for their per diem. 8. I submit the TA along with the travel advance, travel justification, traveler's itinerary, car rental confirmed reservation, if there is any, to the to Governor Torres for his review, approval, and signature. 9. After approval, I then make copies of the TA along with all attachments for our office files. 15. Office staff then delivers the original TA and all its attachments to the Department of Finance for approval and processing, and also gets our office copy stamp received by the Department of Finance. And 16, once approved and processed by Department of Finance, office staff will pick up original TA from the Department of Finance and the traveler's per diem airfare check from CNMI Treasury and delivers it to me for dissemination to traveler, along with a reminder to provide required documents for travel voucher upon completion of travel. Original TA will be included with original travel voucher. Section B, Governor's Travel Authorization. Either Governor Torres informs me that he will attend a meeting, event, or function, or I will receive requests from the governor's attendance at meetings, events, or functions from local and/or federal officials. 2. I transmit the invitation request to Governor Torres for approval. 3. I request for the justification for the governor's travel and travel dates from the requesting individual or organization to be attached to the TA. Otherwise, if it is Governor Torres requesting for travel, he would either provide me with a hard copy justification or notify me verbally of his justification and travel dates. 4. If there's registration required for his travel, I would make the reservation and include all fees and documentation associated with the registration for attachments. 5. I call the travel agency and request for reservation according to the justification provided and for the reservation to be emailed to me. 6. I would make reservation for car rental and lodging by the request of Governor Torres. Otherwise, if Governor Torres will be traveling with a protective service detail, also PSD, the car rental request would be arranged and submitted by the PSD traveling with Governor Torres to be included on the PSD's TA. 7. I prepare the TA and include car rental if there is no PSD and lodging according to Department of Finance's instruction for all Governor Torres's travel. 8. As of Department of Finance's instruction, if Governor Torres is requesting for lodging to be included on his TA, I would need to request for stipend at half of the per diem rate. If there is no lodging request, I would request for per diem. 9. I prepare the travel advance form for per diem or stipend. 10. I submit the TA along with the travel advance form, travel justification provided, itinerary, car rental, and lodging reservation, if any, to Governor Torres for his review, approval, and signature. If the travel is to be performed within the CNMI, Governor Torres would request and approve his own TA. 11. If the travel is to be performed outside of the CNMI, after Governor Torres's approval and signature, I then submit the TA to the Lieutenant Governor's office for the Lieutenant Governor's review, approval, and signature. 12. After all approvals, I make copies of the TA along with all its attachments for our office files. 13. Office staff then delivers the original TA and all its attachments to the Department of Finance for approval and processing, and also gets our office copy stamped received by the Department of Finance. And 14, once approved and processed by the Department of Finance, office staff will pick up the original TA from the Department of Finance and the traveler's per diem/airfare check from the CNMI Treasury and delivers it to me for dissemination to traveler, along with a reminder to provide required documents for travel voucher upon completion of travel. Original TA will be included with original travel voucher.
Thank you, Representative Manglonia. At this time, I would like to recognize Representative Vicente Camacho.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, colleagues. And continuing on, C, travel voucher for all others. I received the boarding passes, trip report, car rental receipts, and any other receipts claimed by the traveler to be included on their travel voucher that was approved on their TA, i.e., fuel receipts if claiming car rental, ground transportation receipts, and registration receipts. 2. If traveler is submitting additional receipts for payment, i.e., excess baggage, additional registration fees, collision fees, I would first get an approval from Governor Torres, then prepare an amended TA to request the additional obligation for approval and processing by the Department of Finance. 3. I then prepare the travel voucher according to the boarding passes provided. However, if there are missing boarding passes, I would prepare and include a travel voucher or travel declaration form to be signed by the traveler. After completing the travel voucher along with all its attachments, I then contact the traveler to come in to review, approve, and sign off on their travel voucher. 5. I then submit the travel voucher with all its attachments and amended TA, if required, along with the original TA to Governor Torres for his review, approval, and signature. 6. After all approvals, I then make copies of the travel voucher along with all its attachments for office files. 7. Office staff then delivers the original travel voucher and all its attachments to the Department of Finance for approval and processing, and also gets our office copy stamped received by the Department of Finance. D. Governor's travel voucher. 1. I received the boarding passes, car rental receipts, lodging receipts, and any other receipts claimed by Governor Torres to be included on his travel voucher that was approved on his TA, i.e., fuel receipts if claiming car rental, ground transportation receipts, and registration receipts. 2. If Governor Torres is submitting additional receipts for payment, i.e., excess baggage, additional registration fees, collision fees, I would prepare an amended TA to request for additional obligation for approval and processing by the Department of Finance. 3. I then prepare the travel voucher according to the boarding passes provided. However, if there are missing boarding passes, I would prepare and include a travel declaration form to be signed off by Governor Torres. 4. After completing the travel voucher along with all its attachments and an amended TA, if required along with the original TA, I then submit them to Governor Torres for his review, approval, and signature. If travel was performed within the CNMI, Governor Torres would approve his travel voucher. If travel, pardon, Number 5, if travel was performed outside of the CNMI, after Governor Torres approves and signs off on his travel voucher, I then submit the travel voucher to the Lieutenant Governor's office for Lieutenant Governor's review, approval, and signature. 6, after all approvals, I then make copies of the travel voucher along with all its attachments for office files. 7, office staff then delivers the original travel voucher and all its attachments to the Department of Finance for approval and processing, and also gets our office copy stamped received by the Department of Finance. 8. I was not aware that there is a requirement for Governor Torres to submit a trip report after his travels.
Thank you, Representative Camacho. At this time, we will go into the expenditure portion of the affidavit submitted by Ms. Frances de la Cruz, and I recognize Representative Ed Probst.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Number 2, expenditure, per diem, stipend, and reimbursement policies, procedures, and practices of the Office of the Governor, including but not limited to reimbursements for meals, hosting, and gifts claimed by or on behalf of Governor Ralph de la Torres and or Mrs. Diane Tudela Torres. A, office expenditures. 1, purchase requisitions. A, when I receive the request from an employee, I would either make the request for quotation depending on my workload at the moment, or have the requesting employee make the request for quotation of the items or item and then submit to me for preparation. B, upon receiving the quotation, I would prepare a purchase requisition itemizing all requested items. C, I then submit the purchase requisition along with the attached quotation for Governor Torres's review, approval, and signature. D, after all approvals, I then make copies of the purchase requisition along with all its attachments for our office files. E, office staff then delivers the original purchase requisition and all its attachments to the DOF, Department of Finance, for approval and processing, and also gets our office copy stamped received by the DOF. Two, memo payments. A, when I receive invoices from vendors or staff, I would verify who the requesting signature is and inquire from them a justification for the invoice being submitted. Justifications would include official representation, i.e., plaques, gifts for dignitaries, bottled water, etc. Office supplies, i.e., pens, notepad, paper, clips, etc. Office operations, i.e., carpet cleaner, glass cleaner, mop, broom, etc., etc., and who slash or where the items are being delivered to. B, I would then prepare the memo payment and attach the invoice or invoices to be paid. C, I then submit the memo payment with all its attachments to Governor Torres for his review, approval, and signature. D, after all approvals, I then make copies of the memo payments along with all its attachments for our office files. E, office staff then delivers the original memo payment and all its attachments to the Department of Finance for approval and processing, and also gets our office copy stamped and received by the Department of Finance. F, if there is an urgent need for capital items, I would go through the process of memo payment. If the vendor delivers the item straight to the governor's office, I would then notify Office of Procurement for tagging of those items. B, reimbursement requests. I I receive, I'm sorry, one, I received the receipts for reimbursements from Governor Torres. Two, I would inquire with Governor Torres on the justification and attendance for each hosting slash official representation receipts submitted. I would also inquire on all justification for all other receipts submitted for office supplies, office operation supplies, office equipment, maintenance, etc. Three, I then itemize the items on the receipt that is needed to be reimbursed, i.e. office supplies, office operation supplies, office equipment, maintenance, etc. Four, after review of all the documents required for attachments, I then prepare the reimbursement request according to the itemized receipt. Five, after I submit the reimbursement request along with its attachment to Governor Torres for his review, approval, and signature. Six, after all approvals, I then make copies of the reimbursement request along with all its attachments for our office files. And seven, office staff then delivers the original reimbursement request and all its attachments to the DOF for approval and processing, and also gets our office copy stamp received by the DOF. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Probst. We will now get into the inventory, procedures and practices, general practices of the Office of the Governor, and I will recognize the Vice Chair, Representative Blas Jonathan Atto.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 3, property inventory policies, procedures, and practices of the Office of the Governor, including but not limited to equipment and goods purchased or claimed by or on behalf of Governor Ralph D.O.G. Torres and or Mrs. Diane Tudela Torres. A, office furniture, office equipment, office maintenance, and all government items tagged, untagged, are recorded by each individual occupying the respective office, i.e. administrative officer's office, administrative specialist office, legal counsel's office, maintenance room, and B, all records are kept and maintained by the respective office. Number 4, general office procedures and practices of the Office of the Governor regarding the use of Department of Public Safety personnel for personal security detail and the use of other government personnel for the benefit of Governor Ralph De Leon Guerrero Torres and Mrs. Diane Tudela Torres. A, if Governor Torres makes the request or has official functions that requires PSD, I would bring it up to the Special Assistant to the Administration to make the request through the Department of Public Safety. Otherwise, Governor's Special Assistant would assist in making the necessary arrangements for all manpower needed to provide security. And 5, general office procedures and practices of the Office of the Governor regarding contract and contractual relationships entered into for the benefit of the office of the governor, Governor Ralph D.O.G. Torres, and Mrs. Diane Tudela Torres, including but not limited to contracts for personnel, consulting, and legal representations. A, I am not responsible for handling or entering into contracts for the benefit of the office of the governor, Governor Torres, or Mrs. Diane Tudela Torres. And B, I am not responsible for handling or entering into contracts for personnel, consulting, or legal representations for the benefit of the office of the governor, Governor Torres, or Mrs. Diane Tudela Torres.
Thank you,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Vice Chair Atto. At this time, we will get into the general practices and procedures of the Office of the Governor regarding payment and use of utilities for the benefit of the Governor and Mrs. Diane Stella Torres. And I will recognize Representative Richard Lizama.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, colleagues. A, at the Office of the Governor, I process less than 20 monthly utility billings for Governor Torres, Commonwealth Utility Corporation, CUC account. All other monthly utility billings are processed by the Special Assistants to the Administration account. B, during the time I process the Governor monthly utility billings, I use the following procedures. One, when I receive the utility billings, I verify if all billings information is correct, i.e. name, address, and account number. Two, I then process the memo payment according to the billings. Three, I then submit the memo payment with its attachment to Governor Torres for his review, approval, and signature. Four, after all approvals, I then make copies of the memo payments along with all its attachments for our office files. Five, office staff then delivers the original memo payments and all its attachment to the Department of Finance, DOF, for approval and processing, and also gets all our office copy stamped received by the Department of Finance. I declare with this statement, I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct, and that this declaration was executed on the 26th day of October 2021 on Capitol Hill, Saipan, CNMI, signed by Francis M. De La Cruz, Executive Assistant, Office of the Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Lizama. Short recess. Thank you, everyone. We are back from recess and welcome back to our viewing audience. At this time, I would like to ask any of the members if they would like to make any comments pertaining to the affidavit or the subpoena or any item on the agenda for today. Recognize Representative Donald Miglonia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Based on the affidavit that we've received, there are still many questions that I know that the members would like to get clarification on, and for Ms. De La Cruz to expound on. And so at this time, Madam Chair, I recommend that um, we request for Ms. De La Cruz to appear before the committee through her counsel, Ms. Viola Alepuzu, to appear in front of the committee at a time that is that fits both us and the council and Ms. De La Cruz.
Thank you, Representative Miglonia. Your recommendation, is that a motion? Recommendation.
Um, sure, I can enter it as a motion.
Thank you. A motion has been issued and has been seconded to command the appearance of Ms. De La Cruz before this committee. Are there any discussions on that motion? All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Ms. De La Cruz will hereby be issued a letter to her through her attorney to appear before the committee at a time that is feasible for everyone's schedule, including the speaker, the chamber, and other members of this body. Thank you. Does anybody else want to make comments? If there are none, I would like to make comments. This morning, as you have seen, we have received the affidavit of Ms. Frances De La Cruz, and we have read it in its entirety into the record for everyone's benefit. And just as we have expected, and what I have personally known all along, based on my 16 years experience holding that position in that office, that Ms. De La Cruz's duties are strictly administrative in nature. And we do this permitting her to submit an affidavit in good faith. We afforded them the opportunity to be as responsive as possible to the subpoena. And just as we have communicated numerous times to Mr. Garber, Ms. Alapuzu, and Mr. Burnbrick at the Office of the Governor, written affidavits are no substitute for live testimony. We cannot ask follow-up questions. The members of this body are unable to ask clarifying questions. Sigun gi testimonyon Señora Frances De La Cruz, todo hafa asangan gi testimonyo niya, klaro na ti senior advisor gui. Tadza ni guiza manai adbiso para gato gi gobyerno. Just as we have also communicated, this committee will exercise its full authority under the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth and issue a letter or a subpoena for any witness to appear before this body. This affidavit is at the very least unresponsive and is unsatisfactory to the questions we have of Ms. Frances De La Cruz as it relates to her duties. Thank you. Anybody, any further comments from the members? I recognize Representative Ed Probst.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate what you have just stated, and I echo your sentiments as I'm sure all of us do. I appreciate the affidavit, but as you said, it was something that we were expecting. And it's basically a very expansive and thorough um, breakdown of all of her duties and responsibilities, all 10 pages of it. I, I don't know if this is going to be the tactic of the governor, or if this is their strategy to submit affidavits, but he's often said, let's speed this up and let's move it along. And certainly these affidavits, while appreciated, are just stalling. And I'm ready to move forward, and I look forward to her appearing before us with her legal counsel. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative Probst. Before we close, anybody else want to make comments? Recognize Representative Richard Lizama.
Thank you, Chairwoman. It is sad to see that an affidavit only explains about duty of responsibility. I'm just hoping that she will not be used as a scapegoat. She will not be used as, well, she saw it and reviewed it and I approve it. So with her present, maybe we could ask that question to her in good faith. And so we um, wait for her present. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Thank you, Representative Lizama. Anybody want to make comments further? If not, can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting, please? Motion has been made to adjourn the meeting for today, and it has been seconded. Any discussion on that motion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The motion carries. This meeting is hereby adjourned. It is now 11:23 a.m.